Today I'm going to be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beasts, number 103, Voyager class Rhinox. And this is an actually pretty good figure, but first and foremost, we need to look at the packaging. So I'm going to pick up the phone, bring it in for a closer look. You can see Rhinox in there. Got CG Render, 103, Rhinox, Transformers, Generations, Takaratomi, Rise of the Beasts. Spinning the box around to the side, you get a CG render of Rhinox in his robot mode, which unfortunately we didn't see much of in the actual movie. Turning him around to the other side, you get this kind of thing, but with his Rhino mode instead. And then you get the back, which the paint on the figure is actually kind of different. 29 steps to transformation, big screen inspired, and Rhinox charges on into the scene to protect the maximum layer from intruders. That's actually a deleted scene, and the backdrop is based on the deleted scene. So with that being all covered, let's turn the box back around and get to cracking him open. So here we have Rhinox in his robot mode, which I'm going to adjust the camera. Here we have Rhinox in his robot mode, which I think looks pretty good. Bringing him in for a closer look, you can see that the head sculpt looks pretty nice. There's loads of texture on this guy. A combination of actual texture detail and mechanical detail, like in the forearms, just the arms, the neck area, the legs, and then spinning him around to the back, he is pretty clean. He's pretty... The only hollow piece is the hollow hands right here, but that is not that big of a deal. So now, let's turn to his accessories, or accessory, which is this hammer, which slides into his hand. The connection point is right where my finger is here, so you just slide it in until it slides into place, and boom, there you have hammer. You can technically get him to grip it with two hands. It's just kind of a pain, and the handle is made out of a softer plastic, presumably to allow you to get this into both hands. Come on. This is the best I could do. Sorry. So, and like I said, the hammer does have a kind of bendy handle. Then, in terms of weapon storage, while this isn't stated in the instructions, at least I don't know. Speaking of the instructions, so we all know how Rhinox is a Maximal, and Maximals appeared in the 2023 film Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Well, I don't think Hasbro and Takara think so, because they said that Rhinox is from Revenge of the Fallen. That's just a misprint. It is very, very funny. And I really, really like it. Instruction booklet, be gone. So, for weapons storage, you can take the hammer, transform it. There's a peg there, which will go into a port there. And that will reveal this big old 5mm peg, which will go into that piece on the back. And boom, there you have weapon storage. So now, turning to his articulation, it's actually pretty dynamic for how relatively chunky he is. Head's on a ball joint, will look up and down, it'll tilt. It's kind of hard to grab, but it will rotate left to right. Shoulders rotate a full 360. They hinge outwards. There's a bicep cut. A little under 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Wrist swivel. waist swivel. Hip skirt is separately articulated, which allows this piece to kick forwards, not unpegging the knee preferably. Forwards to a little over 90, backwards, then collapse this to get it to go out to the side. This is a separate piece, so I recommend grabbing it at the base and pulling it down, so that way it doesn't come dislodged from the rest. There is a thigh joint, a 90-degree bend at the knee, and the feet can pivot downwards, and rock side to side to a really crazy range. So he is very posable. I'm going to do some poses right now. So turning to size comparisons, here we have him next to the Studio Series 97 Airazor. And while unfortunately Airazor didn't have time to transform in the movie, she died. I think that the scale between these two works really well. As do I think it works for him and Cheetor. Now, these two did transform in the movie, and while I'm not sure if we see them right side by side to each other, I think that this scale makes sense. And another piece of scale that also makes sense is him next to Optimus Primal, who is the last Maximal of the series. We're almost there. So keep an eye out for that video when it comes out. Now turning to Rhinox's transformation, let's get him converted into his Rhino mode. So the first thing you're going to want to do, or the first thing I like to do, is rotate the wrist, pop this panel open, rotate this, collapse it, and then as per the instructions, you rotate this hook around, do the same thing on the other side, bang. Now we can proceed to T-pose him, and let's just snap these pieces into place. So, take chest, his lower chest, bring it out, take his upper chest, completely untab it. These pieces will kind of rest into the ears, so just click those in. And these two tabs will peg into these two slots. So just slide that in. Now you can take that entire assembly, bring it out, take the shoulders, rotate them forward, and collapse them into place. You gotta make sure this tab goes through that slot. Like that. Now, you're gonna wanna take this piece, straighten it all the way out, shove your finger into that kind of hollow cavity to pull out the neck, split the rhino head open, flip out the horn, collapse it, collapse these mini horns, snap this piece back into place. These two tabs will peg into these two slots. Now you can rotate the biceps 180 degrees. Get them like that. Now we work on the legs. So make sure that there are two tabs here, which will peg into those two slots, and these pieces need to go over this, like so. Now the reason that these pieces are rubberized is because you want to unpeg the knee and shift that assembly around that. Now you unpeg this, it's on double hinge. There is a tab here that'll go into a slot there. Then there are two slots here. I'll go into tabs there and there, so just peg that all in. Set this big boy down. Oh, crap. Arms. And there you have Rhinox, fully transformed into his Rhino mode. And the actual stock images suggest that you would do this, but I'm gonna go by the instructions and do it like that. So all that said and done, here we have Rhinox in his beast mode, which I think looks pretty good. The only new detail that's really shown are the hooves, are the front feet, and the head, which the head looks absolutely amazing. They got those little bitty pieces of green. They hide the head pretty well. And then the hooves look really good. Beast mode articulation. The head can hinge up and down. The mouth can open, so you can definitely have him roaring. These pieces go forward. These go back. But if you rotate them, you can do it like this. Which I will admit can get him into some actually dynamic poses. Which is kind of odd for a rhino, but whatever. Can get him into some more dynamic looking poses if you utilize that. Never actually tried to pose out his rhino mode before, but I wouldn't say this looks too bad. He looks like he's about to jump. So you got that articulation. The legs are kind of limited, seeing as they're egged in. So you can either use the transformation joint as a backwards knee bend, or the actual knee. And then the feet, same articulation. And then the tail can hinge up and down. So now let's get into some... Here, let's just do it like this, so that way we got the best of both worlds. I'm trying to decide how we're going to arrange front legs for transformation. So, weapon storage, before I do that, is just slap it on top. It's pretty simple. Then it looks like he has kind of a missile barrage on top of him, which looks pretty nice. Now, for size comparisons, the Studio Series Air Razor. And while Air Razor has most definitely the least accurate beast mode out of all of these, I think these two still look pretty well together. As do, I think, Rhinox and Cheetor look well together. There. And I think that these two make a pretty good pair with each other, because one is inaccurate and the other is the leader of the Maximals himself, who is my next video, if Sandstorm doesn't arrive first. So, this will be the end of the Maximal saga of videos soon. What am I gonna do next? I do not know. So, some final thoughts on the Studio Series 103 Voyager class Rhinox. I think that this is a pretty good figure, and you can only pick up one Studio Series Maximal. I'd say it's between him and Primal. So that has been my review. I will see you all in the next one, and if you enjoyed the video, well, leave a like and consider subscribing. It really does help out a small little channel like mine to reach more people. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.